Ahava, and welcome to part 3 of our magic wand workshop. For me, this is a very exciting part because we have been through the air part, which is sort of looking for the wood, and then we did our fire part, which was like filing it down and cutting it and sawing it. And then we did the part which was to nurture it, the water part. And now it comes to the earth part, actually making the wand. Now let's just check we have all our materials. You need your stick, which is already being prepared. You need your crystal, and you definitely need some paper tape. So, are you ready? Now, and also a little, like a drop of contact glue if you feel you want to use it, okay? If you don't, that's fine as well. And some embroidery thread, perhaps different colours. So I have different colours, okay? So, let's start by anointing ourselves with our oil. Just one moment. Yeah, just check there's nothing else beforehand. Well, first of all, I'm going to light a candle. Because for me, this really is sort of like sacred space. It can be any colour, and I'm actually just using a white tea candle because that's what I have at the moment. And anoint ourselves with our oil. A little bit on the head. I sort of like putting it on the back of the neck and a little bit on the chest. Obviously, you can also put it on your womb area and on your feet or whatever. The important thing is to connect. Now, I'm aware, just before we start, that you may have some materials that you're not 100% comfortable using. My inspiration for this magic wand is from another priestess che si chiama Joanite Maldonado, and so I'd like to start off giving her thanks. And what she also suggests is that anything you have which isn't 100% material, 100% natural, perhaps it would be good to so connect with it and give thanks. And just know that we're going to use it for a sacred purpose. And if you still feel uncomfortable, then don't use it. Okay, find an alternative. So, let's see which material is not 100% natural. Well, we have our contact glue. We'll be using it for one moment, just like one drop. And I'd like to invite you just to go inside, take a few deep breaths, and just connect with this glue. And perhaps give thanks for it being here today. Give thanks to all the people that made it possible for it to be here today. And thanks to this glue we are able to make our magic wands. It would be lovely to have some fresh raisin from a tree or whatever, but this is what I have today, and I'm just thank you. So I'm going to breathe in gratitude and breathe out any resistance I have to using this glue. And I feel, for me, it's fine. I'm going to take some of my colours, the embroidery thread colours, because I have lots of different colours. And I mean, obviously, these are really quite comfortable to use, but obviously it would be lovely to use wool from a sheep that was near my house, and to take that wool and like spin it into yarn and then dye it with perhaps beetroot, but that's not possible today either. I don't really have any sheep nearby, and to tell you the truth, I have beetroot, but I don't really have the time. So I'm going to take the colours, just connect with them, thank them for being here today, breathe in gratitude, breathe out any resistance, and thank you for all the people who made it possible for this embroidery thread to be here today. And any resistance disappears into the air. Anything else that's not natural? Well, the paper tape. I mean, at least it's connected with the tree, it is paper. Perhaps it hasn't arrived here in the most natural way, and I'm not really sure what the sticky side is. But again, connect with it. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out any resistance I have to using this. I may well use make another one as well, which is of plaster of Paris. And again, I'll do the same. Just breathe in and out. Now, I think this would be a very good time to take your stone, your stick. Again, I think this stick's from the beech tree, and I've actually just done a little bit of an experiment, and I put some sort of like watercolour pencil on it just to make it a sort of different colour, just to make it a little bit different, and just an experiment. And a crystal. And I invite you to take both in your hand, both natural elements from the earth. Again, I don't really know how this was processed. The shape doesn't look very natural, but it is from the earth. And I think it's a good idea to take both in your hands. And again, just go inside, connect with your breathing, and just imagine this piece of wood as part of a tree. A tree that had roots and went deep into the ground, deep into Mother Earth, connected with the roots of other trees, connecting with water, minerals, and all the other things that trees need and love. And perhaps connect with this energy going up the roots, through your body tree, flowing with the sap, up to the branches, to the twigs, and there at the end of the twigs, there are the leaves, receiving the refreshing rain, receiving sunlight, and through an incredible alchemic process, converting that into nutrients that the tree can use. Also soaking up carbon dioxide and producing oxygen so that we can be at one with the tree. And that that little stick, that little twig has been there, who knows for how long, and has come to us to make this magic wand. And we also have the stone. To tell you the truth, I have no idea where the stone actually came from. But I'm very grateful that it's here today. And I think in the future I'm always going to try and look for stones that have been mined in a very sort of ecological way. But at the moment, this is what I have. And it's I want to join these two earth elements together to make something to harmonise the environment. Okay, so anyway, thank you ever so much for wherever you came from. Thank you for coming into my life and making this possible. So now it's time to put the stick and the crystal together. And we're going to use our paper tape. So I'm just cutting off little pieces with, you don't even need scissors. I'm just preparing lots of little pieces. And now it's ready. You may, if your crystal has any kind of grease on it, you may have to sort of clean it. Some people say that actually clean it with alcohol, although for me that's a bit strong. But again, it's your stone. And it is important that your hands also aren't very sort of greasy, okay? Especially for the first bit. So do you remember exactly how your wand felt comfortable? Remember, there's one side that feels more comfortable than the other. Okay, so I found mine. And this is how I want the stick to be. So let's do this. Now, I'm just going to put them together. And the first couple of times it's a little bit more difficult. And so I think, if I remember correctly, the best way to do it is just put some of the paper round the crystal. Okay, sort of tightly round the crystal. And from there, we're going to fit our stick into it, okay? Obviously, it's not exactly very stable at the moment, but this is the first movement, okay? You just get the stick and the crystal together. Now, actually, the size of the stick and crystal are quite similar here, so that makes it a lot easier, okay? And immediately I am going to put some more around it. Obviously it's not, it's so sort of delicate at this stage. It does take a little bit of, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do just to get them together. I'm just going to put it down a little bit just to, but I mean, it is paper. But you'll be amazed at how strong this paper actually is. I mean, this is only two little ones and it's already beginning to come together. And what you do is you just sort of like mould it, okay? It's easy to use because you can sort of just mould it into place. Now I am going to put some more. And basically this is the process. It could take shorter or longer, but the important thing is just to get it as tight as possible into place. And actually this it's happening quite quickly. So don't panic if yours isn't. And if there's a big difference in size, then you will have to spend more time, especially sort of we're at the meeting point. Okay, so let's continue. After we're going to put embroidery thread on top, so you know it will look nicer. You could use, I think there is a kind of tape you use with when people do like floral arrangements with flowers. I think it's sort of like green, so maybe it'd be a bit nicer, but we are going to cover it anyway. And you could also colour this paper with, again, with watercolour pencils, and you know, not making anything toxic, just okay, do you see how it's beginning to take shape? So this actually went really, really quickly, because I've made other ones and I think it took me longer, but this went really quickly, and it really seems quite firm. But if yours doesn't feel firm, just keep putting more and more paper. I think I'll put one, since I have it, one or two more on, and then we're ready to cover it with the colour. Okay, but it is incredible, don't you think? Just paper tape, and all of a sudden it's... And the last one, since I had them pre-cut, here we have one more, and always, as much as possible, squeeze it in, mould it there, and now it's ready to put the colour. And I would suggest that the colour could also choose you, if you just let your intuition free. And or it could be that you want to choose a colour because it has to do with your intention. For example, if you want something that is much sort of like a power, energetic, then perhaps sort of like orange, which is good for creativity, or perhaps sort of red, rusty brown, which is connected with the earth. What else? Now, for example, my intention is to do something, is a wand that is connected with harmonising the space. Now, this colour has been calling out to me all along, but I don't actually have much of this colour. And surprise, surprise, I didn't expect it. This pink colour has just called out to me. Now, I'm not a pink person, and I really don't have many things with pink, but for some reason this is a colour that I'm going to use to cover the paper. Now, there is something like, I'm not very good at this part, but I seem to remember that if I like make a little loop at this end, and so there's one sort of like side free, just leave it up here, and then I start winding round, I should have one less knot to make. So let's try it. So here there's a kind of like loop, and I'm going to go up slowly over the paper until I get to the top. Now, obviously you could just make a knot. If you want, you could actually just use some glue. But I want to try out this system, okay? So I've got my loop, I'm holding on to the loose end, and I'm just very slowly going up bit by bit. And as I'm covering the paper, I'm also strengthening the link between the wood and the stone. So as well as being united with the paper, it's also united with the thread. So at the moment it's like this. Can you see there's just a little loop? There's a loose end, and I'm just going up. Now, if you're doing this with children, you may well have to help them at this point, okay? The easiest thing to do is just actually have one colour here, but if you want, you can have more colours. But it is the easiest thing to do. Hold on, I'm getting mixed up with my lilac. So slowly, and remembering all times what your intention is, because if I really want to make a wand which is to harmonise the energy and I'm stressed out, well, my wand's going to be a bit confused. So I'm just going to very, very slowly just keep going up. Okay. Well, I have got to the top of my crystal. And now would be a good moment. Do you remember there's a little loop at the bottom? And I have a loose thread at the top, although at one point I had to actually unwind and remember I had the loose thread. It's just all part of the process. Now, all I have to do now is I just pull, so let's hold on to this one moment. I pull on the loose thread and let's see if I can show it on the camera, and the little loop just disappears. Well, it should disappear. Yeah, I just pulled it and the loop disappears, and it's just one less knot. Okay, and all I have to do now is finish at the top. It probably would have been best to do the opposite, so that this part would have been down, but for some reason I felt the need to do it this way. So let's see. Just finish at the top, and now with my other wands I didn't want to use the contact glue, so I made a little knot. And then I must say that at some point the threads did actually become a bit more sort of like untangled. So I think I am going to use one tiny drop of contact glue on the tip just to put the 2 points together. Okay, so I'll just get the glue together. So I just cut off the end of the loose thread, and I'm just going to keep winding a little tiny bit more so you don't see the end of that loose thread on a little bit to the crystal. And now I'm going to put a point of glue, just a tiny drop of glue, on the end of the thread. Tiny, tiny drop. Oops. So I hope you can see that tiny drop. The glue's a bit sticky. And let's just wind into the thread and press it down. Okay, and that is the end of this part. Perhaps for you that's enough, but I would actually like to do something at the other end, just to make it a bit more balanced. And because this is the colour that I originally wanted to use, I'm going to do exactly the same at this end. I'm going to make a little loop. The loose thread goes up, and I'm going to start winding it round and round and round. So I'll do that right now. If you don't want to do it, then that's fine as well. And also, I mean, perhaps, I think I'm going to do it the opposite way this time, okay? I'm going to actually leave quite a long loose thread this time, because perhaps you'd like to add something on like beads or feathers or little shells, just whatever. But again, just remember it should be connected with the intention. So, I mean, I'm leaving all this. I may not actually have to use it, but who knows? As I say, this has been a surprise right from the beginning. I didn't realise I would use this crystal. I had no idea I would use pink thread, because it really, I never normally use pink. So who knows what else is going to be in this wand. So let's start off with my little loop, and I'm going to start going round and round. As I say at the beginning, it's a bit more tricky, and then it gets easier and easier. Okay, And it's always keep that loose thread free, okay? Because you're going to be pulling it through at one point. And obviously you could use more colours or less colours, or you could actually you know, do all one colour and then add another colour on top at some point, or perhaps some sort of like silvery thread, just whatever, just whatever. Just let the creative process, just enjoy it. Who knows what's going to come out. So here we are. So here we are. I've come to more or less where it feels right to stop. And yet again, I'm going to take the loose end and see the little loop, just pull it through, disappears, and there's one less knot to worry about. And I think actually what I'm going to do here is tie these two bits together. And for the moment, I'm actually going to leave it like that because I know that I want to put something on it. And I think what I'm going to add is a little white swan's feather I have. And actually that little tiny swan's feather has on it the word peace. And so I'm going to just tie the two knots together for the moment. Because remember, this is a living tool. You can keep adding to it, changing, talking to it. You know, it's not something that you do and then that's it. It's and there'll be moments in your life when you need it more and moments when you need it less. But in my house, a little bit of harmony now and again wouldn't be so bad. So I'm just tying a double knot, okay? Just at the moment. And let me see. Okay. And so at the moment I'm leaving it like this, and I will go and get my feather, which is in my studio. Yeah, so, and also I'm going to measure it because at the beginning, if you remembered, we did talk about having 18 centimetres as the guide. And then I thought, well, I'm not that bothered really if it's a little bit more, but I am bothered with this one because it's, how big is it? Yeah, it's just a little tiny bit more. So I am actually going to file it down because I feel it's a very sort of feminine wand, isn't it? With the pink and the lilac, and again harmony. It's programmed for harmony, and also because I think for me pink is very much connected with Venus, and the number of Venus is 6, and 666 is 18 centimetres. So I'm just going to file it down just a little tiny bit more to get to 18. Okay. Now I've just filed it down and sanded it a little bit more, and at the moment I think that's that for today. I'm going to put some more oil on, to me, for me, and also for the end where I've just been filed down. A little bit more on the actual stick again, and also on the crystal. And I want to thank all the materials I've used today: the paper, the drop of glue, the wood, the tree this wood came from, the crystal, and the embroidery thread. I'm going to take this point, the projective point in my right hand, and just so it knows this is the point that I'm going to project for harmony. And in the left hand I'll take the other side And it's just to know that this is the other side. And I'm just going to breathe into the wand, and I'm going to tell the wand what I'm programming it for. Well, first of all, breathe. So I'm programming you to harmonise space. And I feel this is how the wand is meant to be, for harmonising space. Now there's one last thing. If you have a smudge stick, this would be a good time to, now I have several, but again I feel the need to use this one, which is my favourite at the moment. I'm becoming addicted to the smudge sticks I make, and I don't think I'll be buying any more white sage that comes from another continent. And I'm just so happy I keep making them. I've got like and again it's juniper and rosemary. It's just to cleanse it, to welcome it. And also remember that this for me symbolises, this smudge stick is like a new start, and hopefully it's a new start for me as well. And anytime I feel disconnected in the house, well, just to remember that I have, as well as the smudge stick, I have a magic wand to harmonise the space. Now, so we've got our oil on, we have our smudge stick. There are some people who actually like putting salt on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt, or sometimes just like for the earth element, and also a little bit of water as well, just a few drops of water. If the water also is like moon water or water from Avalon or something, well, perfect. And if it isn't, that's fine as well. Everything's fine, because the water also comes from the oil element, and it has the air of your breath. So I think that's it complete. Is there anything else? Just remember, this is like a wand is like an extension of our body. So obviously you can't say to the wand, harmonise the space. It's like connect with what you want to do, harmonise it, and this like projects it, okay? You could make a circle or go into the different corners of the house to harmonise, but it's a projection of you. Just like, and it's, as I say, 18 centimetres, the number of Venus, and I'm really happy with it. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to say to you. I mean, you could do it if you wanted to like carve a symbol onto it, or use like one of these iron pens and like it sort of like burns a little symbol into it. You could do that as well. At the moment, what comes to mind is this white feather that I'm going to get now. And remember, it is a living tool. Talk to her, especially the next few days. You know, it's just like it's a new creation. You know, do remind her of what her the intention is and her mission. And, you know, she's just a new part of your life, a new member of the family. And I think with that, we have finished our stick. Thank you very much. I'd love to see all your photos. If you have any questions, please, please, please let me know. And I'd, through email, through Facebook or whatever, and just enjoy your magic wands.